already in the playoff. Fort Wayne traveled nearly 2,000 miles to get here. Salt Lake City, on the other hand, it's about 1,407 hours round trip. All right, let's send it over to our commentators, Tanner White and Kevin Arnold. Take it to the big intro.
Tanner White, stats and information director here with Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. He is Kevin Arnold, the voice of the Cleveland Crunch. Year 2 in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. It's bigger, it's badder, it's cooler, and it's in Sin City.
It's in Sin City, and all these teams, I mean, look, they tend to say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but those trophies for the WMLIS and MLIS this weekend, those need to go home with one of these teams. They need to leave Vegas with something, and everybody is here for that goal this weekend.
And that $25,000 cash prize too, folks. Take a look out over the strip. Take a look at our standings. Fort Wayne, the 2nd seed in the East. They will play unenviably the top overall seed and the number 1 seed out in the West, Salt Lake City's Utah Uprising Football Club. That Utah side, the only one to go undefeated across both WMLIS and MLIS sides this season. A -1 goal differential for Fort Wayne, and then Salt Lake City, you see that huge number up there, plus 87, best in the league by a whole bunch. Fort Wayne is going to have their work cut out for them. And that's just about it as we set the scene for you. Once more, take a beautiful look out at the strip and at our upcoming schedule for our matches throughout the rest of the day. We got 4 semifinals coming at you, 2 on each side, and in each you'll have the number 1 versus the number 2 cross conference. Let's take it to the break. We'll be back with you in a moment here on the National Soccer Network. Kickoff coming soon.
Testing, testing, testing.
Back inside the broadcast booth once more. I'm Tanner White, and he's Kevin Arnold, and we are getting closer and closer to kickoff. We're scheduled for that noon kickoff on the Pacific and about 3 p.m. Eastern. Hope to hit that target for you. If not, we'll appreciate everybody's patience. But, Kevin, the anticipation builds.
The anticipation builds, and it is I've been anticipating this entire season, because just knowing what this season was building to for both leagues, I've been ready and raring for this weekend this whole time. I'm just very honored to be a part of it.
Once more, you take a look at the teams upcoming for this first semifinal match. Fort Wayne's own Summit City Sentinels and the Salt Lake City, Utah Uprising Football Club. They say it's a mouthful on either side. Take a look at some of the fast facts here for this Fort Wayne side. Again, they're the second seed in that East Conference behind the Chicago Mustangs, a 6-4 record, lost one shootout. The only shootout in history, fun fact, of this brand new league for year number 2. A -1 goal differential on the season. That club was a runner-up as they were inaugural members last season to Chicago, the inaugural final, an 8-7 loss. Salt Lake City, a whole lot of good, not a lot of bad. I don't know. What do you find to pick apart about this team, Kevin?
Not a lot. I mean, you got goal scorers all over the place. You look at the 114 goals for this season too. A lot of good things have happened for Salt Lake City throughout the year. But this is where they call it the lights are brightest, and these are the moments where you really find out about your team. You find out about the players. How are they going to react? Fort Wayne, maybe they've gone through a little more adversity, some of that pressure. They've dealt with some more pressure maybe than Salt Lake City has that you're going to feel the entire time in these playoffs.
As they file out, you're going to see that Utah side in the pink kits. Their goalkeeper, Jasmine Espinosa, going to be right next to our referees wearing that orange with the yellow sleeves. Carmen Swigard in the blue for Fort Wayne. You might imagine we're going to highlight her. Those are, by every measure, your two consensus best keepers here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. Huge numbers all around. And they are, once more, in the neon orange for Espinosa and the blue for Swigard. You're going to see the lineups coming here. All right, Kevin, still targeting that 3 p.m. kickoff again. We're going to try and turn these games over as quick as possible between each and every game. That is a huge undertaking. I don't think people necessarily can feel that.
Scheduled every 2 hours.
Yes, right. We'll do our absolute best with you. The good thing is you and I aren't going anywhere.
No. We're going to be right here and bringing it all of the action to you. And, of course, we'll have 3 more games after this, even throughout the rest of the day. But this one will get us started, and I have a feeling we're in for a good one to get us started.
And we hope so. Finals tomorrow as well. You got to stick around for those. That's going to be 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern or 2 and 4 p.m.s Pacific. Something, I'm going to get it dialed in as we go across the weekend. I'm going to get them all figured out, but that's what we've got here. Player to watch once more. Great look at Carmen Swigard, the starting goalkeeper for these Fort Wayne Summit City Sentinels. 161 save to lead the league on the season. 770 percentage was second to her goalkeeping mate on the other side, Jasmine Espinosa, and a 5.73 goals against average, also second in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. Chipped in 5 assists as well. Really started to get involved in the attack when she played high, when she played some balls long. That created lots of scoring chances.
And that's what the coaches told us this week as we were meeting with all of them. They told us with Carmen Swigard, we need her to be a part of the offense. And this is going to be a theme, I think, throughout the day as well. Goalkeeper involvement in the attack, not just what they do between the posts, but what they do out there to help the attack. That is going to be a big storyline, and especially it starts right here, game 1. Carmen Swigard is going to, if they're going to get Fort Wayne going, she's going to be the one to start it.
Swigard set a career high last season in the championship match against the Chicago Mustangs, made 27 to 35 saves in that one. That, at the time, stood as an all-time record. And you know who would go out and break her own record this season? Swigard again. When they had to have it. When they were backed up in the corner, when New Jersey, it looked like, might get in over them in the East, Swigard registering 33 saves in the only match ever to go to a shootout here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer, and they got here. That's all that matters. Mackenzie Evans-Tostado, that's who we want to highlight on that Salt Lake City side. The leader in goals scored and assists on the season with 20 and 12 respectively. So I'm not so great at the math here, but I think that means that you also led in points per game.
Yes, you did. And to be able to contribute on both sides, not just, you'll see some players that they only score the goals. There's others that are just going to sub their teammates. When you can do both, that keeps a defense on their heels because they're not sure how to guard you. They may try to filter to you and try to prevent you from scoring goals. Guess what? They're going to pick out the right pass, and that's exactly what Evans-Tostado does and has done throughout the season.
Impossible to miss her impact on this club, but everybody all up and down this Utah lineup can run. That's part of what Coach Thomas Campbell said to us when we met with him earlier in the week. He said, we don't know that they can keep up with our speed pretty much anywhere at any time. He was a real confident coach as he came onto that call, and the evidence has been there. The leading goal scorers on the season, right, most of them relying on their side. and the fewest goals allowed. And Jasmine Espinosa, he also, quote, called her unbeatable in our meetings. And we're like, wow, this guy believes in his team so much, and they're so tight-knit. Those things go hand in hand.
When you got your coach right behind you, providing that belief, that does something to a team. That brings a different level of energy. That brings a different level. Every team gets momentum throughout these games. That's just constant momentum for a team when you have your coach right there believing in every single thing that you are doing. And I'll tell you right now, speed is very important in this type of game, and it can really be the deciding factor.
Yeah, Fort Wayne knows that they're going to be dealing with that all game long. It's an unenviable task to try and slow down the top attack here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. And these two clubs in Utah, as their men's side will also feature soon, well, both of them in their first years, fantastic, both making this tournament. So very excited for that. And we are back. There is just moments from kickoff now. Again, still targeting that 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific target. I'm telling you, I'm going to get it all figured out within the next couple of matches. It's a struggle for now, but I tell you what, I will get there, as will everybody else on that field. Travel. Fort Wayne, long ways. Salt Lake City, not so much. There's going to be a whole lot more of that. The disparities of travel when we go throughout the weekend. Toronto lurks on deck for the first MLIS semifinal, and they told us that their travel was kind of a nightmare. And then you have a Phoenix who's going to feature in our third semifinal, and it's like, well, yeah, Phoenix was able to drive. Ali Moon over there, their owner, told us that was about 4.5 for them. That's a huge X factor.
It is an X factor, and when these teams were able to get in, dealing with that, that's just one extra piece of adversity these teams, had to try to prep for. But it's difficult, and I know that a lot of people are dealing with some. The travel is difficult right now, all across, and so just then having to refocus when you get, you see the bright lights on the strip of Vegas when you get in, and all those types of things, and you start to feel calmer, you start to kind of settle in, like, hey, I'm here, I'm in Vegas. But then you have to lock back in on the business trip. I can't stress that enough. Like, if you are locked in and you are truly taking this as a business trip, you're going to have success this weekend. If maybe the bright lights of Vegas are playing a factor or kind of distracting to you, then you're not focused on where you should be.
We've heard a ton of good things about Orleans Arena. So not only the arena here, but the whole attached casino and resort, everybody's saying that, yeah, we're enjoying all these amenities. And then everybody came in and, for the most part, had training sessions, too. You get quite a vacation. If you're making a real trip out of it, I say, why not, right?
Yes.
Those teams that came in, we know Amarillo had the very first training session on Thursday in the afternoon. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you get everything that you could out of Las Vegas?
Absolutely. Get everything you can. Take it in. I hope that these players, when they came out of the locker rooms for their first warm-up, they try to soak in the moment. I'm here at the league semifinals. I'm here at the league playoffs. That means something. We did something special this season. The job is not done. Both teams want to play tomorrow on Sunday, and it's time to lay it all on the line to get to that point. And I know that both of these teams, I've watched kind of, I'm always taking stock of the eyes, the focus, all those little things. It's just the type of person that I am to just take those little things in. In my broadcasting career, that's what my mentors have told me to do. Take in everything beyond just what happens on the playing surface. I'm telling you, we got some locked-in players right now heading into our first semifinal.
I believe you. It's hilarious, too. Every single coach that we talked to when we had all our pre-production meetings, they said, yeah, our team's excited. No one also said that our team is stressing out. No one said that our team is ripping their hair out. Everybody said we are, travel considerations aside, we are excited and we're relaxed.
Words are good. Words are also cheap.
Yes.
It's all about the action.
Glad
We're
you said
about
it.
to get to it right now.
Indeed, we are. We await kickoff of the 2026 Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Semifinals. Natalia Lima for Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne's got the white kits with the horizontal purple stripes, and Utah Uprising FC with the pinks and the accents of yellows. Top 2 goalkeepers in the league. Everybody knows it. Best scoring team in the league, best goal differential in the league for Salt Lake City. Everybody knows it. But the Fort Wayne side's got heart, and that's what got them there. 15 minutes on the clock for quarter number 1. We've come to you live here on the National Soccer Network. You're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer's first semifinal. Natalia Lima doing a little bit of a split. Lima looking to press. She'll be Fort Wayne's top forward. And second on this team in scoring to Lena Thomas. Thomas will also feature in this starting lineup. 14 scores on the season for her. Once more, Carmen Swigard in that all-blue kit, Fort Wayne side.
You already see that Salt Lake City, they know Swigard wants to pick out those passes from her goalkeeping position, already trying to make sure that they're in position, not allowing Fort Wayne to win balls up top.
And you want to say, okay, Salt Lake City's dangerous up top, and they are. But the issue is they're dangerous everywhere else, too. Outside striking, we've heard a lot of people suggest that, yeah, that's going to be one of the big issues. Swigard's first stuff! And that nearly got over the wall, deflected for the restart. It did not. 8, Kim Ortega is an on-ball defender now for Kalamazoo. Ortega, 8 in the midfield. Joined there as well by Lena Thomas. We're in the 12. Again, Natalia Lima, 9. 99, Brenna Buert, and 7, Eliana Summer, your starting defenders. Shot, save, Swigard. Rebound perhaps to be had. Once more, it's a little bit wide. Well, hey, they are who we think they are. You know what I mean?
They're going to shoot. They're going to shoot early. Swigard up to task so far. I like that. Getting big. Make them think a little bit about the angle they're going to pick out. As a goalkeeper, you got to make yourself even bigger than you are and make them second guess it.
Shot is blocked down low from Lena Thomas for Fort Wayne. Natalia Lima playing through a couple of contacts. Look, that ball spinning right upon the wall. Lima is going to sell it, and she will earn her team that possession. Couple of the first stuffs for Carmen Swigard in goal. Lima in possession. Over for 13, Ariana Stoltzfus. Summer all the way back for the keeper, Swigard, and so it begins, Kevin.
So it begins, trying to involve her in the attack. She's inching ever further up the pitch as Fort Wayne's able to get possession. They just can't get that maintain of possession just yet. But, that's what you're going to need. It's all going to start from the back with Swigard.
Jasmine Espinosa and Carmen Swigard, it's no secret, both on the MVP ballot as well as the first team all-league goalkeeper selections. And it's going to be a close race between them. Those haven't quite finished yet. I don't think as a sports, as stats information director, I'm supposed to reveal all of that yet.
No, we'll keep that, that'll stay with us right now until it's time for everybody else to know.
Yes. Shot, scored! That's put in by Dominique Estrada. Right around that 3-minute mark. First score goes to the top overall seed. What else is new?
What else is new? And Estrada just picking it out with the left foot. Just perfect placement. Swigard tries to get down, but just not enough. And again, using that turf that get different than the outdoor, that nice, smooth AstroTurf. You can get those nice little bounces, skip it right off the ground into the back corner, and Salt Lake City is off to a flying start.
And you can expect to hear plenty of that, Estrada to Estrada, no matter which of them it should be. Good pressure for 24. Vivian Permanen there. Permanen will commit that very first foul. Permanen, a Finland native. We're going to speculate the most well-traveled of anybody in this match.
Probably, most likely coming from Finland. We're talking about travel all game long and probably all weekend long. Coming from Finland, though, you're gonna have a lot of good foot skills coming there from Finland.
That first goal, 12:07 first quarter. Again, Dominique Estrada from Katrina Estrada. And the Salt Lake City side lead 1-0. Long from the keeper, Espinosa. Picked up here by 12, Megan Hendricks. And also in our meeting with Salt Lake City head man Thomas Campbell, he told us that we know who our superstars are, and everybody else knows who our superstars are, but everybody kind of towards the end of our rotation and in our second lines, they're putting up numbers too, and we literally feel like we can get it from anywhere at any time.
I mean, you got several players that that played all 10 games, so there's a good chemistry out there with Salt Lake as well, and that is crucial. Fort Wayne told us that they're so much on the individual skill, but Salt Lake City, they're going to use all of their players when possible.
Yeah, haven't had any issues spreading that ball around. And we don't just mean in this match either. We mean ever throughout the season since the moment this club hit the pitch. And it was in that Las Vegas weekend back on February 7th and 8th that this club showed up and just dropped 2 hammers and dropped 31 goals with a 31-5 differential in 2 games. And you said, oh, so this is how it's going to be. And the answer, Kevin, was yes. Absolutely, that was how it was going to be.
So right now, both teams, after that first goal, there's a little indecision I'm seeing out there between kind of both teams. Salt Lake City got out trying to get that first goal in. They got that, and it's like they're now searching for what's the next part of the plan.
They've got plenty of attacking options. Layla Mojdahedi, 21 here for Fort Wayne, cutting this first try off. Shot blocked off of 17, Alexandra Rodas-Nichols. Chicago, Illinois native. Features prominently as a center back on this team. Here's 10, Alyssa Wiesman, the Fort Wayne captain. And she always gets a chuckle out of this. I was going to keep it off of air, but something now that I've broached it, I kind of feel like I have to. I call her the elder stateswoman of the squad at 37 years of age.
Gotta be careful with,
Unfortunately, yeah. Here's the thing. Still playing at a very high level for this club, and every time she touches it, just has big moments in games and big scores. If you'll recall, last year she scored the opening goal in that 8-7 loss in the inaugural WMLIS final. Restart as this ball is up into the second row. You want to go and get that, or you want me to?
I'll go get it, but I don't want to because you don't get to keep the balls. They aren't souvenirs like they are in some other sports.
No, we should be so lucky. Take a look at the goal. Estrada from Estrada. Once more, that was Dominique from Katrina Estrada back at 12:07 of the first quarter, and nothing since.
Again, just cutting it with her left foot, and the defender trying to cut that angle down, but just enough of a pace on that one to get it through the space and past Swigard, the diving Swigard, to open us up with the scoring this afternoon. This is afternoon here in Vegas.
Yeah, that's right. By just a few minutes we got there. I said I had to look down at my watch. I said, are you sure? But indeed it is. Good catch, Mr. Kevin Arnold. Well done, folks. We'll have our first media timeout coming at the under 8 stoppage. I say that. That's how it's written. That's how we're supposed to have it. You never know. But we will await that soon enough. Shot stuffed. Get that out of here, says Carmen Swigard.
Good job getting down to the turf quickly on that. Got her right hand down, stuck right there in the mitt, and able to corral it with both hands and send Fort Wayne going the other direction.
What did I tell you? She's got, whether it's, she's turned on the Spidey sense or the Ultra Instinct or the Eye of the Tiger, whatever this mode that Swigard has entered in the second half or so of the season, it's unreal. And I've noticed it, and everybody else has noticed it too. I've been, fortunate enough to call a lot of those games, whether it's over at the Classic City Center there in Waterloo, Indiana, or wherever else that they've traveled. I've made a bunch of that travel, and I said, man, it's incredible, the kind of switch that she's flipped. And then she also, just for good measure, adds 4 assists in the last 3 games. Shot from forever. It's wide. Swigard challenge for a moment for Jen Reyes.
Good job by the defenders to come in there and help their goalkeeper, knowing she was way out of position from her goal mount.
Reyes is also up for all-league consideration. Part of that because she led the league in blocked shots, not just this season, but also all time. 25 blocked shots on the season. Big numbers for her.
Out of possession right now for Salt Lake City. We expected to see that. Just looking for Fort Wayne maybe to get some pressure. Good deflection there.
Yeah, it's blocked off of the back of Eliana Summer. And Swigard says, yeah, I'm going to eat this up.
A lot of work for Swigard early in this one. I think that's what Salt Lake City wants to do. But that one does go out of place, so it'll be a dangerous opportunity for Salt Lake City.
We should be hitting our media timeout. Let's take a look and see if our officials want to enforce it. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's funny. We've got plenty of time here to hit it, right? Because, I mean, you and I, we'd say, yeah, if you're going to go ahead and give it to us, then we'll take it. But doesn't look like it yet. So this is the defensive clearance call as well, Kevin, right? Because it's at the top of the arc. As it is blocked from that lane, from that wall, rather, with Lena Thomas.
So far, Fort Wayne doing just enough defensively. They are allowing their goalkeeper and Swigard to get peppered just a little here in the first quarter. Fort Wayne's going to need something that they haven't done this season, possess the balls, possess the soccer ball. In order, your offense is probably going to be your better defense here in a game like you're going up against a difficult offense in Salt Lake City.
And to give them this long of a stretch uninterrupted without the break, and it feels like Utah's just had nearly all the possession, that's brutal. Lima gathers. Lima challenged, now stuffed. That was fantastic from Katrina Estrada.
Estrada just stood her ground, got in front of Lima, didn't allow her to get any sort of shooting room at all. Couldn't get that ball really stuck off of her foot, really stuck to that turf.
Everybody's identified Natalia Lima as one of the top just physical specimens throughout this league, and it is hard to miss her on film. She jumps off the camera at you. And then again, she's poured in a dozen goals, and she's Fort Wayne's second leading scorer. Shot, top bar, not quite. From long range for Hannah Bruce.
Not a bad effort. Still, Swigard and this defense on their heels a bit as we get closer and closer to that 5-minute mark of the first quarter. Feels like Salt Lake City has had it for even longer than that in this quarter.
Yeah, you've got to already start hearing these tick, tick, ticks like, oh my goodness, can we get a shot clock on them? Swigard was a little out of position. Plunked. And then the follow's high. But you saw what I saw, yeah?
I saw what you saw. I saw Swigard out of position, just no one able in pink to poke it home. But that one was sitting right on the doorstep. That's what you want as a goal scorer, is something just right in front of net. There's nobody in front of you. Just no one could get it to the back of the net. And Salt Lake City stays with the 1-goal lead.
And now we will finally be able to take it to the media timeout. It was worth the wait, and Salt Lake City's who we thought they were. The Estrada from Estrada score, 12:07 of the first quarter. Take a look at it one more time, and then we'll be back here in a moment out of the break. You're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on the National Soccer Network. And we come back out of the media timeout. 4 minutes, 54 seconds to play here for the first quarter. Still a 1-0 contest to the top overall seed here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer, and the only club to go undefeated across both WMLIS and MLIS sides this season. Salt Lake City's own Utah Uprising FC. One of the most successful first seasons club could possibly ask for here for year number 1. And I don't mean just this women's club, because, again, we're going to see them real soon on their men's side against Toronto. Swigard and other stuff.
Swigard just right there on the near post. right there to defend. She's been on her line for the most part. She's just seeing a lot of action right now. When you get the goalkeeper on her toes, especially, that's when more opportunities as this game opens up is where it's going to open up for Salt Lake City.
Fort Wayne side turning this away. Vivian Permanent looking for some support runs. Permanent handling to her left. Back out for Moach to Haiti around the midfield stripe. We got Ryan Glinsky over in the studio. What's up, Ryan? Talk to us.
Guys, I've just been looking at the styles of both of these teams coming in. Fort Wayne likes to play a little bit more transition, play a little bit more indoor soccer, and we're looking at Salt Lake City on the other side. First year in, they're playing a little bit more of that outdoor game, playing that more possession-based. And so far in the early goings, I think the possession-based is the better strategy right now, and it's paying off right now for Salt Lake City. Let's see if Fort Wayne maybe get a little bit more direct and get better in transition and create some opportunities offensively.
Hey, thanks so much, Ryan. Here's a transition opportunity rejected. Swigard with a big old challenge. Like you said, Kevin, she loves to get big. The top bin. Kaboom, never mind.
Man, oh man, just when you think that you're getting out of it, if you're Fort Wayne, there comes the cracker of a goal to the top corner. Man, just good effort to stick with it off the wall. Saw nobody in front of her. Everybody kind of went back, almost like a corner kick to the post to help out Swigard. And Salt Lake City will say, thank you very much. We will double our lead.
And who else but Mackenzie Evans Tostado? You want to say maybe the presumptive most valuable player. Goal scoring leader on this season with 20 of them, led in points as well, chipped in the 12 assists. It's tough to find something that she, you can't say can't do, something that she doesn't do for the squad.
Tostado just putting her name on the score sheet, and I have a feeling she's going to be trying to add it throughout this game as well. Fort Wayne, we just heard it from our own Ryan Glinsky. Can they get more direct? Can they get some of the ball and try to build something?
I thought you were going to predict there another one or another couple for Evans Tostado. I wanted to see your best Nostradamus, as the keeper Espinosa will flop on it.
Not known for that,
No.
unfortunately, Tanner. So Nostradamus, I am not, unfortunately. I wish I could be. Maybe that would mean I was in Vegas a little bit more than I am, but that would also not be the best of things either.
Swigard staring down another attacker without a whole lot of help. Fort Wayne will recover defensively. Now Lima lurking, but going to need help.
A lot of space between that midfield portion of the attack for Fort Wayne and Lima up top. They're just trying to, again, send that long ball up there. This is where that lack of possession that you've had all season, that's where you can really hurt and take the ball back from Salt Lake City's if you can possess in the middle of the pitch.
Anna Rose, Lee Flores. Sometimes she likes to use just the two names. Sometimes she's like to use all four. And, so sometimes I'm Hannah Lee. For our purposes, we're going to go with Hannah Rose, Lee Flores for now. She looks like one of the absolute best players in this league as Swigard gets the stuff on the first. Now she's flopping down and is able to rake that in the claw machine and stuff another possession. But wow, being asked to carry a tremendous load right now.
And we talked earlier about Swigard being a part of the offensive attack, but right now there's nothing she can do except focus on the goalkeeping aspect of her responsibilities. So there's just not enough time to help out and maybe even move up out of her box to help with the attack. They cannot hold possession, and Salt Lake City's right back in that defensive half of Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I feel as if we've said that one before and that we may say it again as this one unfolds. Nearing a minute to play, first quarter, 2-0 Salt Lake City. Dominique Estrada on the first one from Katrina Estrada, and then Mackenzie Evans Tostado at 3:03 of the quarter, unassisted.
And again, this is the indoor game. You got the walls, but both of these teams not really a fan of trying to use those walls in their attacks. They're trying to go outdoor style inside Orleans Arena.
Under 1 minute to play. Still that 2-0 Salt Lake City advantage, and the possession. I mean, if you had the time in possession stopwatch, could you imagine what it is right now, Kevin?
It would be, I know that they usually put up with the Premier League and things like that. They usually drop down the box of percentages of possession, and I would say it would be 75 to 25% right now.
that will take us to the quarter break. Once more, we're coming to you live from Orleans Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada. In about 3 minutes, we'll be right back. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold watching the National Soccer Network. And we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Once more, I'm Tanner White, Stats and Information Director here with Women's Major League Indoor Soccer, joined by Kevin Arnold of the Cleveland Crunch. This is Salt Lake City's own Utah Uprising FC. It's Mackenzie Evans Tostado, presumptive MVP, top goal scorer. She does what she does.
She does what she does, and that is what you want as a goal scorer. That feeling when it comes off her right foot like that, you wrap your foot around it, that you know that it's going to be one of those top bins or top plays, as they say. When you get that feeling, it's one unlike any other if you are an attacking player. And I can attest to that, but not near the level of Tostado, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that makes everybody else too. Don't you worry, Kevin. Oh, that ball absolutely scorched for the second Salt Lake City score of the quarter. The first one was 12:07 from Dominique Estrada. Estrada assisted by Katrina Estrada. And then, of course, Mackenzie Evans Tostado. Who else would it be at 3:03 of that first quarter? Carmen Swigard, the Fort Wayne keeper, going to be under fire, but she knew that one, before this matchup was even set, you want to say. You just had the feeling, okay, if we get in there, we know what we're going to face from this Utah side. Nobody's, there's no more secrets here.
And you wonder how you get your mind prepared for something like that. Like, I'm not going to be, my team is asking me to become a part of the offensive attack, but I know I'm not going to be able to leave my goal area as much. How do I find that balance? And I think that's what, now that she's seen it in action, I think that's what she's searching for.
There's a big collision right there. Rodas Nichols and Evans Tostado. And Rodas Nichols is still down. Fort Wayne's really down a player. That's going to be difficult. Bang! They capitalize in mere moments. Estrada. And it's the worst thing in the world, too, because now you still got Rodas Nichols down. Yeah, talk about this, Kevin. Have you been that one before where you're you need a stoppage and you don't get it?
Yes, you're always there, but it's up to the team. It's up to your opponent. They don't have, it's not like they have to stop play at all. They had the offensive advantage. They wanted to take advantage of it, and unfortunately, still down on the pitch. it sucks, but again, according to the law of the game, Salt Lake City did what they needed to do to put their third in the back of the net, and Dominique Estrada, putting her second one in. Coming into the game, she had 18 goals on the season, 6 assists, averaging 2.4 points per game. Well, she's right on that average already with 2 goals this afternoon.
Yeah, and now we get the little break, and going to take a moment for Rodas Nichols there. While we've got a moment, let's see what the plan is. You want to step out for a moment here, Kevin, or are we going to go back on camera? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Everybody adjust your shirts and ties. Oh
Button
no, Kevin, I forgot my tie.
Oh, boy. I actually packed one. But, you know, we are the National Soccer Network, and we got to make sure everybody knows that in the action that we're bringing you here with the league finals this weekend out there in Vegas.
Yeah, indeed. Once more, they play live from Orleans Arena. We've heard nothing but incredible things about, the travel experiences. They'll kind of be what they'll be, and a few have had some issues there. But everything else around the experiences of the arena itself, the resort, people going out to eat, and they say, oh, our rooms are great. Everybody is just thrilled to be there, and we're doing it bigger and better than ever this year, Kevin. I think that's certain.
Yes, and we're looking now at Dominique Estrada with her first of the game, and now just putting in a second one. You hope the best for for Fort Wayne, and losing a player right now when you don't have a roster as deep as some other ones that come into the weekend. You're allowed to bring up to 22 players. Not everybody has 22 players to even pick from on their rosters, and then let alone you have 17 on your game day rosters. When you don't even have that full amount, the depth then gets questioned, and it's going to test you as a team. Other players are going to have to step up. I know, next man up, next woman up. Cliche, but it's got to be what it's got to be if you're going to try to bring home a trophy.
Allie Rodas Nichols, you see her still walking off, supported by, I tell you, if you had to pick 2 people to support you, those are 2 really good ones, Eliana Summer and Carmen Swigard. And let me tell you why. Summer, a personal trainer, Swigard, a bodybuilder.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that's 17 once more. Alexandra Rodas Nichols, your trainer over there in Las Vegas, going to take a look. And it's funny, she's had a massive turf burn that's been bugging her on sort of the left hamstring type of area for quite a while. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. But there was a couple of times that she had to come out of games just with blood. You know, the way that once you open that thing up once, you've been there, right?
Been there. And you have to have that thing wrapped up, but that doesn't allow for a lot of movement. When you have to wrap it up so tight, so then, if you keep playing with it, that turf is unforgiving, and it will continue to open things up. So it is definitely a battle, and sometimes more concerned because you don't know how to get it fixed.
Yeah, it's unenviable as she's down. And at the time that she was, when the team's trailing 2-0, and then it just leads directly to the score. That should be the first stop for Jasmine Espinosa in goal. That was really a theme throughout this season is, yes, Coach Thomas Campbell said Espinosa is practically unbeatable. That shot is snapped off a little high from Estrada. But also played just over 33 minutes a game and saw, in terms of shots per minute, the lowest of any goalkeeper in this league. That's off of Mackenzie Evans Tostado. Once more, she's 4 in the pink. She's our player to watch. She's netted 1 already, but Dominique Estrada with 2 for that Salt Lake City side, including the last one. Hold just a little bit wide. There's too many rebounds there. Kevin Plunk.
Man, oh man. Swigard just can't catch her breath right now with how many shots are coming in. That shot total is going to keep going up and up and up. And when you have to defend so long, that tires you out so much faster. And we still have the rest of the second quarter plus 30 more minutes in the second half. Fort Wayne wants to try to get some of the ball. I know I sound like a broken record right now, but that's the only thing that's going to get some breathing room for Fort Wayne is finding a way to possess the ball.
Okay, so breaking records. I'm glad that you said that. You know who came through and smashed a whole bunch of records all throughout this season as a team? Salt Lake City. And you know who owns many of the career records as a goalkeeper for this league? Carmen Swigard. And so this is best on best.
It is best on best, and Swigard is trying to do everything that she can. She's going to need some help. It's a tall task. It's a tough ask.
Oh my, and the defense relaxed. That snuck through and scored. Wow, it's 4-0 with the more nonchalant of scores here.
Everybody stopped as if they heard something or they thought maybe a call was coming. But Fort Wayne, they rotate over, and then just everybody just kind of stopped, thinking that either Swigard was going to get it or they all saw it going wide. I'm not sure, but Fort Wayne just stood there, and Salt Lake is able to go up by 4 goals in this one, and you still got 12 minutes left here.
Yeah, that's a stunner. It's still going to be the volume-based approach that we had a feeling that Salt Lake City was going to put up, and that's exactly what we've got for them. But I don't know. Effort, it was kind of a question mark on that last score, maybe.
Effort, yes. I don't want to like downplay effort or anything like that. It all seemed like everybody was on the same page, just not the right page.
Sure. Puts them in this 4-0 hole. Lot of match to be played. Katrina Estrada from Mackenzie Evans Tostado. Again, get a feeling that we're going to continue to say that. That's 11:50, second quarter. Shot blocked once more off of the back of Summer, it appears.
Now you have basically all 5 field players for Fort Wayne. They keep, even Lima has ventured back on defense to try to help out. She's been trying to hang out up top, try to get those long balls. Now she's coming back, and you see you're starting to get almost all 5 Fort Wayne players in our camera, in our area that you can see as you watch this match when Salt Lake City goes on attack. And that is when you know you have a defense on their heels and you have every single element of momentum and energy in the match.
I don't wager that that was in the game plan for Esperanza Castillo and this Fort Wayne side. And they move Wiesman up top, and so then Lima has got to move around too and be in the midfield. Swigard did drift out a little bit higher that time, but it's immediately snatched up by the opposing keeper, Jasmine Espinosa.
I think she's trying to do everything she can to stop that ball from getting any deeper into her own territory, the defensive half of Fort Wayne. She was all the way up at midfield.
Espinosa, a 20-year-old out of Kern, Utah. It's hilarious, the story that Harper Fleming, the GM of this team, tells about putting this together. She said, "This team was my passion project, shot high," and just a little bit wide of the frame as well, with Swigard saying thank you very much. And Lima fouled here. But a passion project, that was how she described it. Harper Fleming said, "So we knew that we were going to field both men's and women's clubs, and those were announced in 2024, and then we became ready to join the league for this season. And they did very successfully on both sides, making it here as the only club to field both a men's and women's team here for these semifinals." And she said, "Yeah, I knew all of these best players in Utah, and I'd played with many of them, you know, even at the pro level." And she said, "I picked, sort of handpicked, all these best players in the entire state of Utah, and now I get to put them all out on the field, and it's just an all-star team." And, well, you kind of see what she sees.
You absolutely see it. It feels like all-stars, and sometimes I think for Fort Wayne, they might be seeing more than just 5 players out there for Salt Lake City. It feels like they have an extra attacker or 2 at all times.
That's a stuff. Good shot on goal for Lena Thomas, but Espinosa's up to the task. Clock winding toward 9 minutes, second quarter, still 4-0. Uprising, you could call it. Avalanche, you might start to think if it gets a whole lot worse than this one.
And what I do like, though, if you're Fort Wayne, what you're liking to see is that Salt Lake City is starting their attack from deep in their own half more often. Over the last few minutes, we have seen them have to go play from the back, which they probably have not had to do a lot this season. So Fort Wayne making some adjustments. It's going to take a lot more, though, to climb back in this one.
Swigard got a piece. Nutmeg. Goal.
Right through the wickets of Swigard and Salt Lake City. As you said, that avalanche is incoming.
Yeah, I didn't want to jinx anything, and then now it's just kind of beating us over the head. They do this, Kevin. They're known to do this, and this is what they believe they should be. This is their standard that they've been holding themselves to every match.
Swigard came out there. You want to see some of those like choppier steps and almost like you're shuffling so that they can't put it through. She was just kind of standing too much upright and, just trying to put her body in the line. And I know that Swigard knows those types of techniques. just, Salt Lake City saw it, took advantage, and we have an uprising for sure in WMLIS, and they are trying to stake their claim in a great season. They want to end it the right way.
Yes, they do. And Fort Wayne, you got to go into survival mode probably right about now. Hit that big panic button. Break the glass in case of emergency. It's probably time. That's goal number 1 for the postseason, but number 8 overall on the season for Kayla Gonzalez. This is from forever for the keeper and save for Espinosa. Clock is nearly halfway here in quarter number 2. Now we are, so mathematically, 3/8 through.
3/8, yes.
Yes, there we are.
Math is hard, man.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I didn't prepare you for that. My apologies. That never comes up in the pre-production meetings. I don't know what that's about.
Although I was going to be a math teacher at one point, so I should probably be ready for the math test if you're going to bring them.
Oh, Kevin, I think you've made the right career choice. You might want to stick with it, my friend. I recommend highly. All right, and so we will be able to take it here to the media break. You're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on the National Soccer Network, and we'll be back in just a few. Inside Orleans Arena, Tanner White and Kevin Arnold out of the media timeout here for quarter number 2. 5-0 Salt Lake City. The last score from Kayla Gonzalez at 8 minutes 24 seconds of the quarter from Hannah Rose, Lee Flores. All 4 names tell you the story. It's Estrada twice. It's Mackenzie Evans Tostado with a goal and an assist. It's the usual suspects, and it's the kind of game flow that they've been experiencing all season long in an undefeated first campaign here in WMLIS.
Good attempt there by Dominique Estrada to try to just head flick that one back towards Swigard. Just couldn't get anything on it. But you like to see that, trying different elements of their offense too. Now getting Estrada to post up in the box. Use that as an option.
Speaking of options, one here is cut off by forward Jennifer Reyes. Reyes always identifiable by that headband. Slides down to knock this away and just hopefully allow the goalkeeper, Carmen Swigard, a moment to breathe. Your defending goalkeeper of the year and up for that category again. That's wrapped around the boards and just not quite in on target off of that bounce. A turn, shot, saved, tapped in, and scored! I don't know what more you want to ask out of a goalkeeper, Kevin.
Now, you can't ask much more. That is full stretch. That is everything you want. It doesn't even get that far away. It's just Tostado is on the doorstep right there. She puts it where she wants to. In terms of Swigard, she knocks it down, and you expect to be able to quickly get up off the ground, go pick that up. But nobody marking on the back post, and Tostado, well, all she had to do was just hit it with where your coach tells you not to, but hit it with your toe. And if you find the back of the net, your coach won't mind.
And now we take a look at Swigard, and, well, have you seen that look on somebody's face before?
Seen that look. I think a little bit of the contact with the ground when she kind of came down at full stretch. Probably feeling that a little bit, but also just when you have no answers, you have that type of look on your face. And it's going to take something special right now for Fort Wayne to grab some sort of momentum.
Weisman again continues her rotations up top. She took a shot, got blocked, and so they'll come up empty on this possession as we're under 6 minutes until halftime. Mackenzie Evans Tostado on that rebound. The original shot saved by Swigard from Courtney LeMay. Stoltzfus, promising little run. Moj Tahiti across, and this club is just not fooled either. You want to talk about your film study.
Talk about your film study, and I mean Salt Lake City. They know what they're doing. This looks like a team, and I'm sure that they've played with each other a little bit here and there and that type of stuff, but it looks like a team that's been doing this for a long, long time, because I'm seeing passes picked out, Tanner, that they just know where their teammate is going to be. It's not they're passing to a space because they know their teammate is going to get there.
Lima back for the keeper. Swigard will just continue to send stuff long and sometimes even put, a shot on target if you want to be real generous. Here she's going to have a long run. Beats feet, gets back into position. Staring down, another score. Boy, it's an avalanche, Kevin.
It is an absolute avalanche right now. The Salt Lake City is doing what they need to they're moving players out of their way by passing the ball back and forth. And this is why when we talked to Fort Wayne during the week, they said, towards the end of the season, we started to get that team effort, that team aspect of what the soccer game is supposed to be, because in the early part was individual. They focused and they were hoping that individuals were going to do something special. That's kind of the approach that they've come out with here in the semifinals.
That was just a little putt, a little tap in for Estrada for her hat trick secured in the first half from, again, correct me if you've heard this before, Mackenzie Evans Tostado.
Those two are just in sync. As the voice of the crunch, we have a dynamic duo, but I'm seeing one that's even more special here with Salt Lake City between Dominique Estrada and Mackenzie Evans Tostado. That is a duo that you want to watch. And if you're a coach and you got young players, you want to turn on the tape of those two and how they work together up top.
Let me tell you something. We're going to see your guys real soon, Kevin. Now, it's going to feel like a while for some. For us, it's going to feel like the blink of an eye. I mean, this is just all we know. Shot, save from range. And Swigard finally on it in the goalkeeper's area.
Good outstretched arms again, and that time she was able to jump up and get in the way of the rebounded shot because it was a little bit further out, so it definitely helped her. Now, this is what Fort Wayne needs. They need a little more, I think, defensively. I think this high pressure is something that they need, but it's that next level. It's that gap between the forwards and the defenders that needs to be shored up to try to get more possession in this match.
The shot disparity is staggering right now. It currently sits unofficially at 24-7. For this period, it's a little closer, 10-5 in favor of Salt Lake City. That's something you can kind of live with, but the 0 on your side on the scoreboard is something you kind of can't. Clock winding towards 3 minutes to play until the half. Interception here. And once more, who else but Mackenzie Evans Tostado? A couple handles and shakes loose.
It just seems inevitable, like Thanos. One of the two, Estrada or Tostado, are going to capitalize when turnovers happen, and it is absolutely on in favor of the Uprising right now.
We're going to keep saying Tostado, and I'm going to continue to get hungry, Kevin. You know what I mean? Sorry,
Yes.
folks. Something, we got a long day ahead of us. But, hey, we thank you once more for joining us over
It's
here
only
on
the
the
first half of the first game, Tanner.
know.
You can't be there yet.
Don't remind me. Kim Ortega trying to just send one in the right direction for Fort Wayne, and a lot of times that's created scoring chances for them. They just think, hey, let's see what happens here, whether it's an early cross, whether it's Swigard, the keeper herself, with a long ball, something like that. And they've just got some finishers in there. And they nearly had the finish from Lima, too.
Good save. That was the opportunity that we saw Swigard just give up. The ball just in a good position for Lima, just not able to get enough on it. Kind of came across her body instead of driving through, striking through that ball to put it past.
I liked that defensive play from Benna Brewer. Here is that save for Jasmine Espinosa. And then Lima not quite there. The rebound did not quite fall to her fortuitously. Little back touch here. 99, Brenna Buert. Now 9, Natalia Lima.
Here comes Swigard coming out of her goal area, now finally into the offensive half.
And she's got a feed in there for Lena Thomas. Once more, this Utah side not fooled. Reyes tracking this all the way back with the defensive drop back, gets a piece, and that's crucial. Ewert looking for a place to clear. This press is oppressive.
It is, and it's much better in position. So Fort Wayne is trying to match the press of Salt Lake City. It's just as soon as that first pass happens, it feels like Fort Wayne is easily out of position. When Salt Lake City does it, they don't allow that first beat to get past them, and someone is there always rotating to help.
Inside of 1 minute, the tick, tick, ticks grow ever louder. They're still surveying options. Shot is just a little bit wide, but they maintain possession. Again, I feel like we've said that one before. Call me strange. And while we've got you here for a moment, we'll tell you, attention fans, just don't watch the action, capture it. Download Rematch, the free sports highlight app that makes it easier than ever to record the biggest moments using technology that allows you to save the play after it happens. From goals to game-changing saves, you can capture it right all from your seat. Clips are instantly visible and ready to share. You just might see your highlight featured on social media. Rematch, an official sponsor of Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. That's one more good feed. It is maybe a half a stride ahead there of Courtney LeMay, and that will round us out for half number one. 8-0 Salt Lake City, the top overall seed, the undefeated side out of Utah. Kevin, they are who we thought they are.
They are who we thought they are, and they are, it feels like they're just getting started in this one, and they got 30 more minutes to really stake their claim to that championship match.
It's a scoring summary that's fairly easy. If you think, okay, Estrada or Evans Tostado were probably involved on most of these, yeah, you're correct. Evans Tostado picking up a couple of goals, a couple assists, as she does, leading the league in both of those in the regular season. Estrada with the first half hat trick, no shock. And we will take it to the half once more with Utah Uprising FC out of Salt Lake City, the 8-0 lead over Fort Wayne's Summit City Sentinels. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold, you're watching the Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Semifinals on the National Soccer Network.
In Barca camp, I sing my song Grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Back here at the NSN studios, my name's Ryan Glinsky. Halftime right now. Salt Lake City up 8-0 at halftime in our first matchup here in the WMLIS finals. Let's take a look at those first half highlights. And there's a ton of goals. We're just going to hear two names that are going to show up time and time again. That's Mackenzie Tostado and also Dominique Estrada. Those two were unbelievable, each with a hat trick in that first half. Each of them scoring 3 goals, and then the other player to score a goal for Salt Lake City is Kayla Gonzalez, and she had herself a goal as well. And it was just from the get-go, Salt Lake City got things going late. This is an unbelievable finish right here in an acute angle, beating Swigard. And then from there, this one was a little bit interesting for that third goal. There was a giveaway, a player down in Lena Thomas, but they were like, well, let's keep playing, and that's exactly what happened. But a third goal nonetheless. But then the fourth goal, Katrina Estrada this time. Not Dominique Estrada, but Katrina Estrada grabbing a goal for herself to make it 4-0. And then immediately it was just an avalanche from there. 5-0 as Kayla Gonzalez got in on the score party, and you're just going to see more Salt Lake City goals as they dominated that first half. Even if you're looking at the shot department, 25 shots to 9 for Salt Lake City. Cameron Swigard was busy. 4 saves in the first half, and then 6 in the second half, or in the second quarter rather. She was busy, but Salt Lake City just dominant in that first half as they continued to score goals and goals. And Fort Wayne had a tough time getting the ball out of their own half. Really good pressure from Salt Lake City. And eventually they still haven't found a way to break through Fort Wayne. It was much better in that second quarter for them. 7 shots in that second quarter compared to just 2 in the first quarter for Salt Lake City. But one thing to mention in that first half, Carmen Swigard not really active much in that first half. We've typically seen her have 4 assists in her last 3 games. She's been unbelievable getting up in the play, creating some offense. We've seen her have a couple shots here and there, but for the most part, that she's been neutralized. And then another player that was also neutralized was Natalia Lima. That's a player that Fort Wayne likes to get the ball up to and trying to create those diagonal runs, those second runs, have her hold up the ball, but she's been receiving the ball mainly in her own half. It's been very difficult for Fort Wayne to break that Salt Lake City press and get any offense going, and they're going to need a miracle to get anything out of this matchup. They currently trail 8-0, but we're going to step aside here on the National Soccer Network as it is the WMLIS semifinals.
In Barsacam, I sing my song Grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barsacam.
And welcome back, everybody. You're looking live inside Orleans Arena in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Season 2 plays on for our first semi-final of the weekend. I'm Tanner White, Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Stats Information Director, and he's Kevin Arnold, the voice of the Cleveland Crunch. 8-0 game at the half, Kevin. The top overall seed playing like it.
Yes, they are. They're getting everything that they want. They are moving the ball the way that they need to. Yes, it is being led by Dominique Estrada and Mackenzie Evans-Tostado, the two main ones you expect to see. But what's not going in the stat book is everybody else chipping in where they need to, getting the blocks defensively, getting out in transition, and allowing those two up top to just do their magic.
Do you see what their head man, Thomas Campbell, was talking about when we talked with him earlier in the week, and he called his keeper unbeatable, Jasmine Espinosa?
I absolutely see that. She is the few opportunities, and that's what's so difficult as a goalkeeper, Tanner, is when you're not getting a lot of shots against you. Can you stay mentally locked in? Can you stay focused and make the saves when you need to? And she is definitely up to task. She is locked in and not allowing any Fort Wayne attack to amount to some sort of momentum grabber in this match.
Yeah, Fort Wayne and attack on this one have not been synonymous. Let's call that what it is. Utah, well, it absolutely has been. They got the defending goalkeeper of the year across from them, Carmen Swigard, and we know that she's up for that this year. And now she's facing long odds. We got to admit that, as when they're going to come out of the break, you're still going to be trailing 8-0.
You could see it on her face. We kind of talked about it there after, I think it was either like the fourth or fifth goal. You could see it on her face, that frustration. Now she was at full stretch and gave up a rebounding goal because she couldn't get back up and did hit the turf kind of hard, but also the look on her face like, I'm doing everything that I possibly can, and yet they're still getting goals past me. Like, I know I'm better than this. I think it's more of like a self-reflection, internal reflection with Swigard, and you can see it on the face. But I know she's going to come out, and there was probably a very decent conversation and discussion in the locker room that Fort Wayne, they don't want to go home, and they're going to want to try to get back in this one.
Perhaps some injury concern as well with Alexandra Rodas-Nichols, a center back going down there for Fort Wayne. And you already knew that they came in short. 13 available players, and they are fighting through it. They're trailing 8-0, and we're going to come back here real soon, ready for half number 2 in a moment. And we want to welcome you back for the second half, folks. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold coming to you live with the Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Semifinals for 2026. Hey, let's take a look at that beautiful game ball over there, right on that midfield logo, Kevin. Today's match is played with the official ball of Women's Major League Indoor Soccer, Select. Built for performance, precision, and durability, Select soccer balls are designed to elevate every level of the game. And we are nearing kickoff. Fort Wayne's Natalia Lima ready with that ball on the dot in a moment. An 8-0 hole that they've got to dig out of, and we're hearing a goalkeeper change for Salt Lake City as well. Anastasia Estrada, 22, the reserve keeper in. They've also rotated in Kimmy Combs at times this season. Anastasia Estrada with the healthy lead right now to protect. And maybe you could see, do they want to waffle on that should Fort Wayne start to make a real long goal-scoring run? But comfortably here with the 8-0 lead, would you say this is the right call? Oh, my goodness. Speaking of, I don't think they made any wrong calls today, Kevin.
No, everything they're doing is going their way. That's a ball that you typically see just shot into the roof of the arena. But that one, boy, oh boy, it finds the top portion of the net. And all Fort Wayne can do is just look back and try to get it out and try to see what they can build here and see if they can take advantage of any of the adjustments they discussed in that halftime break.
Chelsea Campbell-Sanchez so rudely greeted them out of that break. It's 9-0. We've almost never seen anything like it. Chelsea Campbell-Sanchez. So they've got 5 different scorers that had double digits in the season, right? It's, you want to call it a 5-headed monster. I'd be totally okay with that. You've already seen Dominique Estrada. She had the first half hat trick. Evans Tostado, presumptive MVP. I mean, this team literally can get it from anywhere at any time.
They absolutely can. And, now Fort Wayne, they're trying to set up these triangles. They're trying to do what we had talked about there in that first half. Try to build some possession. All 5 now moving up over midfield when they get a chance to attack.
Lima, turn, not quite. Oh, it's a great look at that Las Vegas Turf Monsters logo over the goal, though. This is one of the very few times that we've seen it because, that Fort Wayne side hasn't been attacking all that much. Of course, you do flip between quarters, but take a look at this shot. Just smacked away with that right.
Estrada just getting her mitt up there, just getting enough on it. What that allows you to do as well, when you restart the play, now your defense can reset after they've been on their heels for a couple moments.
Yeah, some of the only few moments, you might add, that we've kind of seen in this one so far. Layla Mojtahedi in the attacking end for Fort Wayne. Mojtahedi, a second-team all-league selection last year. As primarily a forward, played much more defensively this season. Lena Thomas put that on target, and the reserve keeper, Anastasia Estrada, secures it. Mojtahedi also is the proud co-owner of the records for goals in a game and points in a game with 6 and 7, all memes aside, from last season. I don't know if we're getting into the generational kind of age gap thing or not, Kevin, with the 6-7. I don't know. I hope not. My apologies.
I got away from my kid with the 6-7 this weekend.
Yes.
Let's not come back with that.
No, not anymore, folks. If you'll look up and see on your screen in front of you, there is, in fact, a soccer match playing out as well. Utah's Salt Lake City. Uprising FC. It's a 9-0 match. This is off the back of an attacker there. It's Chelsea Campbell-Sanchez again, who just scored that last one, the opening goal for this third quarter. And finally, for one of the only times we've seen in this match, you will get a touch all the way back to the keeper. You get that 4 count, too, when the goalkeepers are handling behind midfield. It hasn't played much of a factor in this one, to say the very least, because Swigard, the keeper for Fort Wayne, wants to drift and play higher and higher, and then none of these Salt Lake keepers going to make a whole lot of touches. Swigard does record the save there.
It's like you want Swigard to almost be testing that violation time in and time out to try to just hold on to the ball just a little bit and allow Fort Wayne to find those alleys, find those passing lanes. They were setting up some pretty good trials at the start of this half. They just haven't been able to get that ball back off the feet of Salt Lake City.
Not yet. And if you can't do it soon, it's going to start to look real dire. 9-0 is still the Utah side's lead. A patient attacking possession. I like it.
I was just about to say, good patience here And this is what you're going to need if you find yourself in a closer game and you want to stick around this weekend. You're going to need to be ready for all types of scenarios.
Wrapped around the boards, Swigard, little contact as she skied up. A bump from Moj to Haiti, but should be all good. Sends it long. And out of play. Hey, heads up there in the second row. As Swigard lays this ball up. This is Lima. And again, the save as Anastasia Estrada. It'd be easy to kind of, get a little bit mentally checked out. And then when you come in, be a little bit cold because you sat down for the whole first half and you know what Espinosa's done on the season. And then she's challenged right away and she makes that.
And the replay doesn't do it justice in terms of how quickly you had to react in that type of situation, because that was an excellent turn by Lima and she got it off her foot quick. Estrada was just up to task.
Lima, that is, has put a whole bunch of those in. And I'm glad that I finally did that once because I hadn't gotten a chance to say it much yet since Fort Wayne hasn't scored in this one. The Lima to Lena connection with Natalia Lima and Lena Thomas. And those two being this club's two top scorers and really liking to hit each other and creating a lot of scoring chances. That works quite well. I think it's time to take it back to the studio with Mr. Ryan Glinsky. What you got for us, Ryan?
Guys, something to just look out for the rest of this weekend on the men's side and even the women's side. A couple of teams did play last weekend, and Fort Wayne was one of those teams who were kind of battling for their lives against the Chicago Mustangs to even get into this spot. And last Saturday they did play. They did beat the Mustangs 8-5 to even get into this spot. But then you look at Salt Lake, who has not played since Sunday, March 15th, where they beat the Las Vegas Turf Monsters. They played that weekend, and it really feels like, guys, that the travel and the rest that they had last weekend is really playing into a factor. Just something to keep an eye out for, even on the men's side and the women's side as this tournament progresses.
Yeah, that Toronto side, not only did they have to play last weekend, but they have that bear of a flight, that monster of a travel. I can do the math there. I think that's further than anybody else that Toronto's had to come.
Absolutely. And while Ryan was talking there, we saw Fort Wayne with their best opportunity of the game offensively, just kissed it off the inside post, and it was unkind, woodwork unkind, as they say to Fort Wayne, trying to take that zero off the board.
Vivian Permanen, that's the ball you're talking about.
Yep, and that one it was going to beat Estrada, and then a good block to get the play out of there on the rebound, but heck of a shot there by Permanen, and Woodwork just not willing to help out Fort Wayne on that one.
Lena Thomas here looking for the takeaway. And Salt Lake City looking to put this match away. Hannah Lee into the arms of Swigard. Get it out of here. And it's broken up now, Lena Thomas. 8.5 minutes to play here. Third quarter. Here is Rodas Nichols. Hey, she looks all right to us. Shot saved. Welcome to this match, I'm telling you, for Estrada, and she looks none the worse for wear.
And Nichols still kind of hobbling out there, but she's got to give it a go. She's willing to give it a go for her team. Could be the last opportunity to play here in 2026, and she will hobble off back to the bench, but she's trying to give it a go, and you got to give her credit for that.
You've got to give this entire Fort Wayne side credit from kind of the moment that the turmoil started to take over midseason. Call it what it was. This club underwent an ownership change or removal of an owner mid-season and struggled to get time on the practice pitch together. They told us all of that when we met with them in the pre-production meetings. And through that all, it would have been easy to say, yeah, it's not in the cards for this season. Save Swigard. It would have been so easy to say that too. And yet here they are. They've made it. They've made it all the way to Vegas. They do trail big, but we will have to head to the media timeout here for quarter number 3. As our officials have signaled it. Once more, Tanner White and Kevin Arnold coming to you live from Orleans Arena here in sunny Las Vegas, Nevada. Take a brief break and be back with you in a few. and we make our return here out of the media break. If you had a moment to, if you ran downstairs and wanted to go to the bathroom, you probably are missing a little bit of the action here. They're turning these around quick, Kevin. 4 matches to go or 3 matches still to go, and, we got to get them all in somehow. We're going to.
We got to get our partner reads in, though. We got to give credit to people helping to bring this to everybody. So, but they're just trying to keep the action rolling. They got 3 other games to get to today, so they are definitely moving things along there at Orleans here at Orleans Arena.
Yeah, that's been on display for us that, well, no matter what we got to do, we're going to get them all in, and field time is what field time is. Shot blasted! Estrada!
Man, oh man, she just continues to pour it on for Salt Lake City. Double-digit goals for the team, 4 goals for her, and that one, I mean, just an absolute rocket past Swigard. There was nothing Swigard was going to do with that one. Estrada put everything she had behind that one.
Do they still say holy smokes, Kevin? Again, is this just getting into a generational age gap thing? I don't know. Because holy smokes.
Are we on Back to the Future right now? Because we've gone forward in time and we have gone backwards.
Oh boy,
you get it all here during the league finals.
Yes, and no way to prepare for what you'll get, regardless. Preparation, it's a buzzword. It doesn't mean what you think it does, folks. Under 7 minutes to play here. 10-0, Salt Lake City over Fort Wayne. Coach Esperanza Castillo has seen this brave squad set so much history. Carmen Swigard, the all-time leader in saves in goal. She was the goalkeeper of the year selection last year, as well as the first-team all-league goalkeeper, and has got so many of these records. Set the single-season save record, or the single-game save record, as well as a single-season record this year, and now looks like they're going to come up short. But again, you can't take anything away from this club's efforts from even the opening whistle. Little chippy, Swigard's got it.
You can't take anything away, honestly. Like you said, it's to do what they had to do to get here, especially, and you could say it about every team, but to do what they had to do to get here, there is no moral victories really aren't the thing the teams talk about, but it is reality, and it's something you have to at least try to take perspective with.
Evans Tostado, as she gets it back, had the 2-player run with Sanchez. Sanchez topped it. Estrada blocked by Reyes. Once more, that's your leader in block shots all time and this season. However, Fort Wayne foul should be called on Reyes. Another look at Swigard, the keeper. Her face kind of matches the color of the posts on the goal. You know what I mean?
She's working as much as she can, and you see that communication still working, still there with her team. That's what you want to see.
Estrada, free kick, saved off of Reyes. Oh, ouch.
You're standing in the right position to try to clear that one out, but sometimes if you are that person on the post, you have to be even more cognizant because things can come at you quick. That is one of those instances. Now, it's not off the wall, but that's where the turf kind of plays a factor. Kind of caught up on to Swigard and then bounced off and bounced into the back of the net in favor of Salt Lake City.
You know something? You do have the stats and information director next to you, and he will take a moment to tell you, whether I like it or not, that is credited to the last attacking player to touch, right? When you get those true own goal situations where the shot wouldn't have necessarily been on target, or Swigard had, clearly made that first save and that deflection would have then been cleared away. However, that turnoff of Reyes is going to award that goal to Estrada. That means it's a 5-piece.
It is a 5-piece. So you're saying that I've called games this season and I've called own goals just from my like deep-rooted soccer knowledge. I've been wrong. I've been the one frustrating you in your office, huh?
Would I ever tell you that, Kevin? Stuff from Swigard.
You may not, but I can always take it.
Yeah, I'm sure that you can. You learn to develop a thick skin in this game. You learn sometimes not to read the comments. Oh, but Cleveland should be good. Shot tucked in. Bang. A dozen.
Man, it just, you look down for a second. If you even blink, you're missing an opportunity from Salt Lake City, and that's Estrada again. 6 on half of the goals scored by Salt Lake City have come from the foot of Dominique Estrada in this match. She is, as they would say in basketball, she is heating up and on fire shooting that ball today.
Yeah, so you got to keep feeding the hot foot. And you know, what did I just tell you about that single game goals record? That sits at 6, and so that's tied now. Lima from the doorstep is checked, and it's loose.
Golden opportunity there from Lima, and here comes the transition from Salt Lake.
Evans Tostado, doink. Crossbar that time.
Swigard may have gotten just a fingertip on that to push that just high enough. And here they come again.
On the goal line, oh no, you could just see impending disaster, and there's your single game scoring record for Estrada.
7. Sevens are wild in Vegas, and that is Dominique Estrada with 7 goals on the afternoon.
It appears that this club has doubled down. They said, this is what we expect. They said, we don't think Fort Wayne can handle our speed. They said, we really love where we're at. We don't think we have to change much in our game plan at all. Their statement's been made.
Their statement has been made, and they're not taking their foot off the gas pedal at all in Salt Lake City, because they know, hey, we may have this game in hand right now, but we got to play tomorrow, and we can't let off the gas, because guess what that does? That lets bad habits come in. Bad habits can have a lasting impact when you're trying to go for a championship.
Fort Wayne timeout is here with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play of the third quarter. It's really just about catching your breath right now, and you kind of have to play it out for pride for the most part from this point. Have you been here as, well, you've been here as a broadcaster, and Cleveland thankfully hasn't spent a whole lot of time there. However, you've probably been there as a player and things. You felt this?
I have absolutely felt this as a coach of young players. I have felt this. As a coach, I try to make sure that opponents didn't have to feel that. It comes to a certain point where if you tell players to just completely stop playing, then to me, and this might just be me, to me that looks like worse sportsmanship than continuing to play and allowing the opponent, even if they're down a lot, to try to work through things at the right pace.
Thomas from Lima! Golazo! What'd I tell you about that connection? Lina and Lima.
Lima gets the Fort Wayne Sentinels on the board, and that is exactly the way that you want to do it, and that's what I'm talking about right there. Salt Lake City not letting their foot off the gas. It forces Fort Wayne to keep on playing. You get opportunities just like that.
You know, I still saw a ton of explosion from the keeper, Estrada. She launched there, and so there was just never anything she was going to do, but I thought that's really impressive, and that bodes well. But you know, Espinosa still up for goalkeeper of the year herself, and in the MVP vote and everything. You know all the numbers on her. 879 save percentage on the season coming in. Huge number.
You know, Lena doesn't feel good right now with where the score line is, but internally there's a little piece of her as a goal scorer that feels really, really good, because you see an athletic goalkeeper like that, and you can still put it past them. You know, you just had, like, as you called it, a golazo out there during the match, and there's a little smile internally with that, but of course the focus is on it, and the feeling is really towards what is happening with their team.
Lena Thomas, your leading goal scorer for this Sentinels side. That makes 15 overall on the season for her. We did flash it up for a moment. You probably saw that single game goals record. Thomas, save for Estrada. Again, that now belongs, at least for the postseason, to Dominique Estrada with her 7-piece today, and we speculate maybe still counting.
And you know, again, looking back at Fort Wayne here, they got a crucial opportunity at the top of the box with this set piece. We'll get back to this point in a second while they set the wall and get everything going.
Haiti over for Stoltzfus, saved. And then the keeper Estrada says, nah, no more, thank you.
So I was going to say, like, that, see what one goal, even one goal can do, and the energy that infuses into a team. The opportunities are starting to come now for Fort Wayne. Is it a little too late? Maybe, but it's starting to come, and that's where you just have to take it one step at a time and get out of here feeling like you did leave it all out there on the pitch.
I'm glad you said it, because it did flip quick, and you could feel it no matter where you are, and everybody down in the arena, everybody in the studio, no matter, everybody across the world, right? Because you figure Permanent's parents, she still got family in Finland, like we presume they're watching.
Yes.
So one of the widest spread audiences, hopefully, that the National Soccer Network's ever seen, and certainly that Women's Major League Indoor Soccer has ever seen. We hope.
We hope. Yeah, absolutely, we hope. And we know we got a lot of people tuning in, and this is only game one, and it's going to ramp back up. So, Salt Lake City, they're not done here either in this first set of games, because their men's team is coming right up, and they're going to have a tough act to follow with the way the women's program has put on their performance almost through 3 quarters so far.
Kayla Gonzalez down on the turf here for Utah, and got the brief injury stoppage signaled. And let's see, we got how much time remaining on our clock here? Still awaiting on news of that while Kayla Gonzalez is attended to. You don't have the trainer hopping out there quite yet. So this looks like it's going to be a really quick one. Okay. Well, I tell you, they all know down on this pitch that we got to get this turned over for the next match quick as possible. Right, that's been clear to us. Even our referee crew says, I see Oscar Guante down there, our on-field official. He probably has a good sense of humor about it, but it's true that, we've got to get through all of these today.
I would say that they've been letting them play through contact to allow this game to keep going, but really, it's been a pretty clean game in terms of the physicality and those types of things. Any physicality has been even both sides, any sort like shoulder-to-shoulder contact. Referees allowing that to go on as they should. They're not, and the best thing about it is those in the bright neon green shirts, they're not the story of the match, and you want the players to be the ones that finish the story and define what the game is going to look like.
A touch up top. Hendricks got a piece of Reyes once more, and it's in the back of the net. That's 14.
14 goals. And again, we still have 15 more minutes of the match to play. As I said, Salt Lake City not relinquishing the hold on this one at all.
Do you want to take a brief moment for making sure we're not at the quarter break? That's what we saw. So we should still have a couple of ticks left. And tell you not to miss the action, that you can follow Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on your favorite social media platform at WMLIS Pro. Stay updated with game highlights, player spotlights, live updates, and exclusive behind-the-scenes content. Be part of the excitement and support women's indoor soccer. Once more, that's WMLIS Pro. Finally, folks, we got to take it to the break, but thank you for your patience. We'll be back here in a moment for quarter number 4. You're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on the National Soccer Network.
Authentic Mexican flavor made fresh from scratch. Every ingredient prepared with real Mexican tradition. Your bowl, your rules. Visit us at one of our Cleveland locations.
Built on service, driven by integrity, trusted through compassion. They serve, we honor. They commit, we care. They sacrifice, we heal. At Apex Skin, a veteran-owned practice, we proudly give back to those that gave so much by offering free scar revisions through our Purple Heart Project. Trusted care for every journey. Visit apexskin.com/care to schedule your appointment today.
Freshly chopped. Perfectly topped. Fresh chips. Creamy queso. Feeling thirsty? Try one of our signature drinks. Mexican classics? Always.
Liberty Home Mortgage is kicking off a new sponsorship with Cleveland Crunch. We're revolutionizing the way mortgage lending is done today.
Looking to purchase or refinance a home, we'll find the best solution for you.
Come see how Liberty Home Mortgage is changing the game.
And we welcome you back, folks. Nearly ready to kick off quarter number 4 here in this 2026 WMLIS semifinal. Off and running. 15 more minutes to play for this one. Big old lead for Salt Lake City's own Utah Uprising FC. They scored, 12 minutes and 7 seconds of the first quarter, and you thought, okay, well, not shocking. And then the Avalanche came in. Veterans, are you looking to purchase a home? Joe Page and Linda Jabs with the TOP team powered by Liberty Home Mortgage are your local VA loan specialists right here in Las Vegas. As a veteran and a veteran spouse, they don't just know VA loans, they've lived it. Start your journey to home ownership today with the TOP team powered by Liberty Home Mortgage. And now just 30 seconds in here to quarter number 4. We're told that we had a goal waved off, and I think it was the very last one of that period. Was that your understanding, Kevin?
That's what I understand so far. No official word just yet, but just like that, number 14 will go in.
Yeah, so, okay, you're missing one, and then you go and pick it up quick enough, and that is Sanchez on the rebound for her second. Yeah, we've seen this one before. So that first shot, not quite saved. I think it's just a little bit wide of Swigard. Even so, those rebounds, creating assists, all the same throughout this entire match, and somebody's on the doorstep nearly every time that Salt Lake City's got one that's not going in on the first try.
And you know what I really like about a few of the goals we've seen from Salt Lake City today? You see kind of like almost like a jump into the shot. Like that strong step forward, that plant foot from Salt Lake City. They're getting that power behind it, but they're not overpowering it where they can't still place it. They have found that perfect balance in their shooting form between power and placement, and that is when you know you are doing things the right way as a coaching staff and as a player development type staff.
We showed you that goal from Hendricks, and now we're still kind of working through what exactly would have been reason for it to be waved off. Not entirely certain, but nonetheless, they got it right back anyway, and so kind of feels all the same. Stoltzfus being checked here for Eliana Summer. Summer was one of those identified as, that she could have been an X factor in this one, and maybe Fort Wayne expected her to play a little bit more in the midfield and attack a little bit more and take some more shots. And that's not just speculation. That's something that, we heard from Coach Esperanza Castillo in preparation for this one. Hasn't happened so much.
Has not happened as much in this one, but look at Salt Lake. I know that they're taking it out of their own half, but if you saw that last possession from Fort Wayne, they had to do everything they could to get it over midfield because that high press, you might be bringing some other players in, you might be trying some different rotations right now if you're Salt Lake City, but the mentality, the philosophy is staying the same.
Permanent is trying to make the run all on her own, lets it loose. And a little too high, should have the restart coming. Once more, our on-field official there is Oscar Duante. He is getting his workouts in, just following this attack up and down. And we've had a couple of times that this ball has tried to escape, run away. It's saying, I'm peppered too much. I'm taking too much damage from this Utah side. It says, get me out of here.
Good high press right now from Fort Wayne, though. They're trying to build some opportunities. If you're gonna go down, you better go down the right way.
And that's swinging. I think that we've seen that in that Lena Thomas goal from Natalia Lima. Started to show it, but then you mentioned a really good stretch of several minutes after that where, hey, this just looks like we're watching a different match from what we saw for the first 40 minutes or so.
I talk to people all the time that are, they're into sports and stuff. As the ball goes out of play, and we'll get a restart with the Salt Lake City Uprising. But I talk to people all the time that, yeah, they might be into sports, but not as much. And they always seem to be frustrated when people talk about, you got to do the little things right. The little things matter. And they seem frustrated by that. But that's what we're talking about right here. One goal seems small in a game that's 14-1, and yet infuse that much energy into a team. Imagine what doing those little things more consistently can do for you.
We had that goalkeeper change come once more. We were told for a moment that maybe they were considering going back to the starting keeper, Jasmine Espinosa. It appears that they actually go and got Kimmy Combs here. And that is now who you're seeing. Again, these neon kits. So you wonder, do you have 3-goal kits, or did she swap it out with somebody? That's a really good question. White, does Espinosa's fit her? Top in, it's just too high, plunked. What do you think? What do you think they did?
I would hope that you bring the goal, like enough goalie kits, and if you got them, you gotta bring them. You always gotta be prepared, right?
Lima.
Anything can happen in this game, and the more prepared you are for anything you might face. Look, they say you can only control what you can control, right, Tanner?
Yeah, you bet.
Sometimes that control for the uncontrollables.
Oh, plunked just wide. And so everybody's going to exhale for a moment as Ortega sends this down. Well, everybody except Lima, as Lena, she's going to be whistled there for the contact, and then throws up the hands, a little exasperated. But again, you've been here and you know this feeling across many different, intersectionalities, if you will. And the emotions, they get to you here.
They can also be a teaching point, though, too, and especially, just more so reflection-wise as a team. You look yourself in the mirror type thing. And I'll give you an example, and this isn't to talk about me or anything like that, but it's just the best example I have that's popped in my head right now.
Sure.
First tournament I ever had with my U9 co-ed travel soccer team, and it was co-ed because we had 3 boys on the team.
Right on.
9 girls and 3 boys.
Yeah.
First tournament ever, first game together, we get beat like 16-3. From then on out, and every other tournament we went to, we were right on the doorstep, if not winning championships, because that moment told them what they needed to work on and how much they needed to listen, and it was a teachable moment. Those are when organizations and teams rise and build success over years.
Man, and at U9, you were learning and teaching all of this, right? Teaching them right along the way?
I had an advanced, I had a bit of an advanced group, so I give them a lot of credit. I give the parents a lot of credit, and you have to. They're getting them to all their practices and tournaments and all of that. So, yeah, I was definitely fortunate for my first head coaching job. We'll actually see our first card of the match. A blue card will come out.
Yeah, it was Ortega. Now, the greatest news is Ortega's able to laugh about this. I think that is, and it's good, too, because you see the contact that she took there, and you say, okay, we're very thankful that she is able to. Yeah, that was a healthy little shot put on there from Hannah Bruce. Now, if we are seeing this correctly, we got the true PK coming. You get a lot, unless this is just top of the arc. Let's see as they set it up. We've got Moj to Haiti right there, top of the arc now.
Yeah, so it'll be a power play for Fort Wayne, but
but not the true PK. Okay.
Not the true PK, because that contact happened in that half a circle. I think it needed to happen inside of the square aspect of the goalie box right there, where the goalie can actually touch with their hands. So they saw that contact just outside enough to make it a free kick instead of a penalty kick.
Yes, thank you very much on that, Kevin. And then nothing more resulted out of that from Moj Tahiti set piece. Drive back down the other way, knocked as Ariana Stoltzfus stabs it away.
Kevin, your U9 story reminded me of the Little Giants. Is that kind of what your team was like, the Little Giants?
They were pretty good. That's a good one, Ryan. I never even thought about that. I used to call them my minions. So was it Despicable Me? Is that where Despicable Me. I was a little bit of Gru. Yeah, I was a little bit of Gru, and they just did what I asked them to, and then they always had fun no matter what. They found a way to have fun at random times, and you would think I would get frustrated with that, but I'm just a big kid at heart too.
Evans Tostado, late cross, booyah! Hot cross buns.
That's what it is. Just simple as that. Simple one-touch passing. Tostado knows what she's going to do when she's in front of net. Doesn't even take a second thought. And when she crosses that over and then you finish it the same way, that ball is just moving between pink jerseys. on the ground, between the feet, and it is a beautiful brand of soccer to watch. I know the score may tell you a different story, but the way that we have gotten here, the story behind that score line has been a beautiful thing. At least if you're at Salt Lake City for Fort Wayne, not able to capitalize on some early opportunities, and then just wheels falling off. It happens this way, even in one match. But it is, you hate to say it, one match, but it was the match of the season, and Salt Lake City is about 7.5 away from clinching their spot to a second game this weekend.
So you're willing to say that by now? You're willing to speak that into existence? Say, I think
that's
they're
why
going to take this one?
We're 7.5 away. Nothing's ever done until there is, well, I guess this would be 4 zeros on the board.
Sure.
I say triple zeros, but yeah, 4 zeros on the board there, and it's the end of the match. Nothing is ever set in stone until that point.
Hilarious, because I default to quadruple zeros, and it just kind of depends on where you are and what your scoreboards look like. Stoltzfus cutting off that try at first. Still rebounds to be had. Bang. Put up top shelf by Christine Reynolds.
Every single goal we've seen from Salt Lake City has been, for the most part, top shelf. So that means they are definitely, they have their shooting boots on this afternoon. And you talked about it. You've kind of been around them a little bit more, especially with the WMLIS, and you kind of see it from behind the scenes as the stat and information director. You have seen that this Salt Lake City team likes to go with their speed, and they are going to impose that on you no matter what, no matter how the game is going. They are going to continue to impose that, and they have done that all afternoon.
Now, speaking of imposing, these girls were trying to get restarted and said, whoa, hold on a minute. We got to take it to the media timeout first, all right? Oh, a 16-1 lead for Salt Lake City's Utah Uprising FC will be back in just a moment. You're watching Women's Major League Indoor Soccer on the National Soccer Network. Our valiant return here out of the media timeout for the fourth quarter, 7 minutes and 22 seconds to play. Here in our first semifinal of the day here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. Fort Wayne's Summit City Sentinels and Salt Lake City's Utah Uprising FC. Well, you see the score, and the scoreboard tells much of the story in this one. Tanner White and Kevin Arnold. Would you agree, Kevin?
I would tell you that it does tell the story. Now, there's always more behind it.
There is.
But in this instance, the score does tell the story, and it's unfortunate because, like we've talked about all match long, what Fort Wayne had to go through to get to this point and earn their opportunity to get to Vegas. You had your cap tipped off to them, but Salt Lake City is just on a whole nother level than a lot of other teams, if not all the teams this season in WMLIS.
There's a lot of contributors from last season for Fort Wayne who didn't make their return. There's a huge hole here, I think, in the lineup that I'll tell you about in one moment, because first we got to tell you about Roper and Roper Attorneys at Law. Tonight's event is proudly supported by Roper and Roper Attorneys at Law. Trusted for over 30 years, they provide expert legal services to help you protect what matters most. Roper and Roper Law. I'll tell you about Carmen Swigard and her older sister, Rachel. The dynamic that those two had playing together last year was very special. Save here for Carmen. And Rachel had an unbelievable impact in the 3 matches she played last season. That was enough for her, just like her sister Carmen, right, to get that first-team all-league recognition. Swigard was a first-team all-league midfielder and would then go on to score 4 out of those 7 goals in last year's inaugural final and give them a real chance here. Summer plunked it. Give them a real chance in that inaugural final to take down the at the time undefeated all-time Chicago Mustangs. Swigard unable to make the commitment this season, then had some injury issues and things, and just knew that she wasn't going to be able to play. And so Carmen says, well, I would have loved to play with my sister, of course. And that could have made a huge difference. Juliana Chupp was a big contributor in last year's final with a goal, a couple of assists, a really late goal in that one that trimmed it all the way to 8-7. She's no longer on the roster for this season. And still with these scrappy 13 that they've brought, it's just this team believed, and they had to ever get here. Just threaded through Estrada looking in the area of Sanchez, but now maybe the decision's been made that they're going to pump the brakes a little bit, do you think?
Looks like they are. They're kind of moving the ball a little bit more, but shots still kind of coming in. But this is kind of that aspect of like continuing to play, but you know, you can temper back the pace. You can temper back the foot on the gas pedal. But again, if you just completely stop playing, I have seen teams that, you know, they tell their players like not to shoot, and the ball goes into the box and is right there in front of the goal, and they're playing defenders on their own team at that point. That's where you put yourself in a weird spot by putting your mind in that spot, and then it also, like, your opponent sees that. I got to be honest, as a player, if I would have seen that, and I did see it sometimes, I didn't like it as much as when, you know, teams would just possess, keep playing the game without the box involved in play, basically.
Speaking of involved in play, once more, that goalkeeper for Salt Lake City here for the fourth quarter, Kimberly Combs. Combs, a 37-year-old Salt Lake City, Utah native. What did we tell you about this team and the construction of it? That GM Harper Fleming said this was a passion project, and I got to handpick all the best players in the state of Utah. We're looking at this match and we're saying, yes, you did. And we're looking at this whole season and we're saying, absolutely. I think she told no lies.
And that just goes to show you the depth of soccer in this country that I don't know that gets talked about enough. Places like right here, a National Soccer Network try to bring that, try to tell that story because it's not talked about in the masses. But there is talent all across this country, and that's what you want to see, that actually show up in World Cups. It does on the women's side, and that's what we got going on right here. But to be able to pick and choose from an entire state as big as Utah, I would say the Passion Project is putting it nicely.
And I'd say she made the right choices.
Yes.
That's what's leaping out at me. I said, yeah, I think you nailed it. Swigard's pressed. Estrada should have a dink and a dunk. And just add on to the all-time record if you're going to set them. Sin City seems like the place.
It absolutely does. Estrada, and, that's an instance where if you see a player, like, they get into that point where there's nobody in front of them, all they have to do is tap it home. If she were to pull that back, like that would feel a little more disrespectful. Estrada did what she should do there. The opportunity is there. Take it and move on. No celebration, nothing like that.
Sure. It's a save up top for Kimmy Combs. Combs out there with a big old double overhand chuck. Intercepted here by Summer, though. And, you said something all around the country that kind of rang in my head. You said, yeah, there's great soccer all around the country. And Swigard, the keeper, sends this long, but we got a great chance now to hit on this point that I want. So Swigard is a Michigan native and from the east side in the South Lyon area, and then moved to Fort Wayne, now calls Fort Wayne home. And many of this Fort Wayne side do as well. And we continue to expand in our MLIS-X, our exhibition program that launched this year, as far as Tampa Bay, as far as Kansas City. You've got the real coast-to-coast expansion that is coming. Evan, expansion's coming all the time. We talk about it in all of our league meetings and all of our front office meetings all the time. It's so exciting. You went from 9 clubs to 13 on the MLIS side, 4 to 8 on the WMLIS side for this season. So this league doubles in size in a single year. Shot! Bang! Once more with a final exclamation mark. We've heard and we understand now.
I think I can say now that Salt Lake City will be in the final, but I temper myself on saying that because, again, you've been on the other side of this. You understand it. You understand what Fort Wayne is going through, and you got to be respectful of that because these women have put in the work, the energy, the time. Some of these players have other responsibilities that they have to take care of, and they make the time. I mean, even look at this organization. They've gone through a lot of adversity themselves, and they're still here. They're still playing WMLIS. They're still making a name for themselves, and they're helping to spread the beautiful game and the word about it there in Indiana. It's just, again, in this kind of instance, all you do is you feel that sickness in the pit of your stomach.
Yeah, we feel it, whether everybody wants to say it or not. Doorstep put down once more. That is 19, a staggering number for the Uprising.
Oh, we just keep saying it. No matter what, the Salt Lake City, they turn, they look, and really the resistance isn't there. They're able to do what they want, and they came in with the idea that teams were going to have to beat them in order to, and they couldn't beat themselves. They felt like they were that good. So far through one game this weekend, they have definitely put the league on notice with that.
Could not agree more. That last score from Allison Smathers, that's now a hat trick for her, all racked up in the second half. Smathers cross, Swigard got a piece, rebounds. Oj Tahiti silences it. We're under a minute to play. 19-1 Salt Lake City. And the ticks, they grow ever louder. Are you hearing that? Is that psychosis?
It is psychosis. And, if you're, when you get a lead, especially in a playoff scenario, and you look at the clock like you want it to tick faster. And
of course.
But that's when it ticks slower. When you're down, that's when it feels like it's ticking faster. Right now, it's just ticking loudly to the end of this one, to the ultimate and inevitable finish that we had seen once we really got going there in that second quarter.
I am willing to call it inevitable at this point. Lima physical once more whistled. This is kind of the second time that you've seen her right down in that attacking spot right by that logo on the dasher board there. And it's next to that Las Vegas logo. We got to take a moment and again thank our host organization. We have to thank Commissioner Bernie Lillevoix. His Las Vegas Turf Monsters side's not qualifying for this tournament, but still hosting a fabulous event. And this is just match number one. Kevin, long weekend to go. Fantastic weekend to go, though.
Fantastic weekend to go. Anytime we get to broadcast and bring the beautiful game to the masses, it's a great weekend.
And there's your quadruple zeros. You want to talk about a statement made. Salt Lake City, Utah Uprising FC dropping a 19 bomb. That's the most goals in a game all time here in Women's Major League Indoor Soccer. Take a look at that upcoming schedule. Salt Lake City and Toronto on deck. Your next WMLIS final, Phoenix and Chicago. And we'll round it out with your men, the Cleveland Crunch, taking on the Amarillo Bombers.
You're setting me up to be.
I am.
To be like blamed for bias or something. I'm here to just take in soccer and make sure every team gets as best represented as possible.
Yeah, and that's, of course, what we are all here for. But we cannot thank you enough, everybody, for tuning in for this first semifinal. We'll step out in a moment. We're going to take it to Ryan over in the studio. Let's go ahead and do it, Mr. Ryan Glinsky. What you got to say?
What a performance from Salt Lake City, 19 goals. Again, if this is your first ever time watching Major League Indoor Soccer, you had a fun one. 19 goals a game. Can't really say there's an outdoor game that has ever had 19 goals in one game. But shout out to Dominique Estrada with 8 goals. And as mentioned before, a record-breaking number there. But impressive that a first-year team in Salt Lake City is able to have this big of a statement win in the first game of their playoffs as a club, and this season getting one step closer to the ultimate goal, which is winning a championship. But on the other side, they may have to play Chicago if they win this next game. I think it's going to be a really good matchup between those two if they do get to that point. But for you guys, Kevin and Tanner, what was most impressive about this win for Salt Lake City?
Well, I got to let you take it away. I feel like I said too much of it.
I would say the most impressive thing was the speed. We can talk about it all we want, but until you get a chance to look at it on the actual pitch, it is a whole nother thing. And I think that's what Fort Wayne came in. They could see the speed in the film that they watched. But how do you prepare for it if you haven't seen it, if you haven't played against it yet? That is a very difficult thing to do. Salt Lake City, as soon as they felt it, they definitely, I think that they put their foot down even closer to the floor on that gas pedal, and they just never looked back.
For me, I love the history books. Stats and information director, as I should be, right? When I'm having to dig through and I'm having to comb through really, really tightly to find all these different layers of history that were set all at once, as if we aren't making history each and every single match out here in the WMLIS, but even more so in a match like this, I got to credit Salt Lake City a ton for everything that they did. Their statement is made, and they are who we thought they are.
That's who they thought we were. And Ryan, I don't know, man. The only way to wrap up a 19-1 win is saying domination to the fullest.
Yeah, hats off to Salt Lake City. They were unbelievable. Again, I still wonder if maybe some of that travel, some of that rest still played a factor, and that's something that we're going to see throughout this tournament, not only on the women's side, but also to the men's side. But any final thoughts from you guys from this game?
Congratulations to Salt Lake City. We're looking forward to seeing them in the finals. We'll figure out their opponent in the third match of the night, but congratulations to them, and tip your cap to Fort Wayne for everything they did this season. That is a team that I don't think that the score line today tells their entire story enough for the people to understand what Fort Wayne went through and how well they played to get here.
Fully agreed. This team is going to be well represented in those postseason awards, and they did make tons of history throughout this regular season. They had the audacity to believe that they could ever get here. They did. And Salt Lake City does exactly what they expect of themselves. Got to be championship favorites. They put up a huge number, and all of the history that they wrap up with that. Estrada, Espinosa, you name it. This club, unreal and incredibly exciting to watch. It's been a pleasure to have you all with us. And most importantly, see you on Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, right? Yeah, and then
Yes.
5 p.m. Eastern.
You're getting it.
Finally, we're getting there. 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern here on the National Soccer Network for the Women's Major League Indoor Soccer 2026 final.
The National Soccer Network presents the Major League Indoor Soccer and Women's Major League Indoor Soccer Finals weekend. 8 teams have traveled from across America to hoist a championship trophy at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. From the first whistle to the final second, expect intensity, passion, and drama at every turn.